looked something up. Privacy chat, blah, blah, blah. Away you go. Here we go. Now I can see everything. All right. So once again, happy Galentine's Day. Or as we celebrate at my house, Friday the 13th. Mwahaha! And as you can see, I'm a little out of breath. I shot another video that is probably going to go live either tonight or tomorrow about something also Barbie related that I noticed that for once actually skeezed me out. I don't usually have that feeling for Barbie, so it was a big topic. I'm going to work on editing that later tonight. So again, tonight or tomorrow, there'll be an extra video for that. So a little out of breath, pink cheeks, but hey, goes with my pink Hello Kitty shirt for Galentine's Day. As for Valentine's, of course, I'll be with my hubby tomorrow, but that's another story. So, Galentine's Day, I was thinking, should I do something? What should I do? Just sort of mulling over in my head, what would be different to do for a holiday like this? You know, it's kind of on the newish side. And this morning, American Girl dropped a super cute video where they teased bringing back Ivy. And they talked about how it's all about friendship and such. And I thought, you know, I've been putting this off for a year and a half. So for a year and a half, I've had this in my house and I've wanted to do this video. This would actually be a nice time to do this. So I'm going to introduce you to Teen Skipper, and that box crunching did not sound good, and I want to know why the box is crunching. Can you hear it? Something went rattle, rattle, crunch. I don't know what that is. That's got me a little worried. You might have a fun surprise on this video. I might have a fun surprise on this video because I don't know what made the crunchy crunch sound, but this makes me really want to unbox this ASAPs. So, some of you might not remember this doll. You might be wondering, how come, where is she? There she is. How come Skipper is the same size as Barbie? And there's a lot of history behind this doll. So, one thing that Mattel has never gotten credit for, and I'm baffled by this because I've seen so many collectors miss this, but Mattel has a long-standing history going back to the beginning of Barbie of having long-term storytelling. Now, for the most part, Barbie dolls are open-ended play. You make up the story. You bought the doll? Great, you make up the story, you decide what her personality is and all that stuff. And only dolls that are specific to certain media, like the Barbie movie doll, or Barbie in a Nutcracker, or Barbie Life in the Dream House, only those specific Barbies might have a story to them, but all other Barbies and Kens and what have you, you make it up as you go. That's the idea, right? Well, quietly in the background, while that's been mostly true, they still have long-term storytelling. So when Skipper first came on the scene, she was a little bit shorter than a Stacy doll. She was meant to be a little girl, a kid. And then they quietly made the doll appear a little bit older, made her a little more like a tween, a little more Stacy aged. And then we, of course, get growing up Skipper. This is mine. She was missing her arm. I got her third hand, and I just sewed this up real quick. But like growing up Skipper, she is meant to be a tween turning into a teenager, and you turn her arm, and she grows slightly taller. And then a bunch of conservatives decide to pearl clutch over this. I don't get it. But because you can always like make her a tween again. I don't get it. And like a lot of people lied and said, oh, she was canceled for controversy. No, she stayed in production for 2 years. That's not canceled, that's in production. And she ended up with a friend named Ginger who had the same sort of body type. There was a book, a coloring book that came out where it's all about her helping her mom when Barbie's away and doing chores around the house and just being an overall good kid. And then there's like paper dolls and a lunchbox, all about her just doing normal kid stuff. It's a lot of people lost their minds over it, but Mattel decided to keep the story going. So they released a few more dolls where she was in her kid body, and then by mid 70s, early 80s, she was never in kid mode again. She stayed in her new teen body for many, many years. And then we had two more Skipper dolls with creepy face molds. I'm not collecting them. Although one person on Instagram did this cool thing where like they repainted her face and gave her purple hair. Amazingly cute. I'm still not collecting those two specific Skippers, at least not right now, just because I like sleeping at night. But then in the late 80s, we get this super cutie with her anime face. And again, by this point, the teen body is here to stay. So she's like 10.5 inches, 10 inches, something like that. She's the same size as Japanese Chibiusa dolls. But, here she's like canonically 14 instead of being a kid. So she's 8, then she's like 12, then she's 14. And she stays that way for a long time. By the way, I got two of these at the Goodwill. So that one I just redressed her with whatever I had. This one, which is also a babysitter Skipper, I even like made her a tiara. There we go. I put her in a Sailor Moon outfit just because I always wanted to see what Skipper would look like if she cosplayed as Sailor Moon. But she ended up with Chibiusa hair, and I just think that is too adorable. But she stayed that way for a long time. And then for like a year and a half, we had like this other face that was similar to a Skipper doll, not Skipper, Stacy doll face. It's like between Barbie and Stacy. It was okay. I used to have one of those dolls. I unfortunately lost her in a flood, so she's not here. But then immediately after they came out with this brand new Skipper face, they decided it was time to grow her up again. And that's where Teen Skipper comes in. She had a big campaign. There was a cute little commercial with a song attached to it. And on the back, she writes a letter. And this is where I wish the camera wouldn't flip. She writes a letter to Barbie fans, and she says, "Hi everybody, it's me, Skipper. I'm 16 now with a whole world of teen friends and fun for you. Please don't take this to Epstein's Island, thank you. My best friend Courtney and I have a friend named Nikki." And, Skipper's cycled through a lot of friends, but Courtney had been like her bestie since the 80s. And now Courtney had also grown. They gave her like these whiskey eyes for some reason, and they lightened her hair a little bit. And then canonically, since the late 80s, there had been a black Skipper, but they always just called her Black Skipper or just Skipper. And they would sometimes in adverts put her next to regular Barbie and, Malibu Barbie, and say she was like, her sister too. It was pretty cool. Very racially inclusive. But then with this, they decided officially we're not going to call her Black Skipper anymore. She has a name, and her name is Nikki. And she's super fashionable and cute. And I wish I had that doll. And Nikki, of course, would end up being a name reused for Barbie's friend Nikki, but that's not the same doll, even though they often use the same head mold, make it make sense. But, we've got a brand new friend in Nikki now. So just as Brooklyn Barbie is now the name going backwards for all the black Barbies, Nikki is the name going backwards for all the black Skippers, so on and so forth. Anywho, returning to Skipper's letter. We all love high school, hot hairdos, and decorating ourselves with fun tattoos. I'll get back to that. We also love hitting at the beach together, especially since we all got these new swimsuits. Gotta go, can't wait to see you again, love Skipper. Look for me in my whole teen collection. We just love hanging out together. Have cool decorating fun with stickers and tattoos for Skipper and you. Okay, so let's talk tattoos for a hot minute, all right? So, while this doll somehow slipped under the radar, the butterfly art tattoo Barbie and Ken caused a lot of controversy. They came out a little bit after Teen Skipper, And a lot of people lost their minds because they had tattoos already painted on the bodies. There was a Steven doll and a Christy doll, and I think a Therese that went with this too. And for some weirdo reason, a lot of people on TV were like, "Oh no, people who do tattoos are into drugs and they're miscreants and stuff like that," which is so weird because by this point we're in the late 90s and some of us already have like grandparents and uncles and aunties with tattoos. Like a lot of folks who came back from World War II would all tatted up and entered normal society and did normal people things. So I don't even know where this mentality came from. I mean, my husband's got tattoos and a normal job and does normal stuff. So I don't even know why people thought this way of tattoos. But somehow Skipper got away with tattoos. It's interesting to me. It's kind of like how when Midge traditionally married Alan and years later welcomed their first children, people thought it was promoting teen pregnancy, but she was an adult when they got married and had waited like 10 years to have kids. Oh my God. Actually, she waited like 14 years, 13 years, actually. I had 10 years before I became a mom. That's weird. But anyway, like, she was an adult and like they freaked out over her having children with her husband the old fashioned way, but Skipper could babysit and raise everybody's babies. That's totally weird to me. But anywho, somehow tattooed Skipper got under the radar. Now, and that's also weird too because in most places you can't get a tattoo until you're over 18. In some places 21 because the tattoo parlors don't mess with kids. But anywho, back to the tattoos. What's been missing from some websites is that the tattoos in this box, they got recalled like about a year or so after the doll came out. Like you can see on the side of the box here what's inside the tattoos. Rub-on tattoos for child. And yeah, they do have a kid on the box. It's fine because like she was like a little older. This actress is a little older than my little brother, and he just turned 34, so she's like 30. So it's okay for me to show the picture because she's like 30 now. Anywho, rub-on tattoos for child, acrylic copolymer, surfactant, excuse me, I'm slaughtering these words, defoamer, alkyd varnish, varnish? Ew. Modified gloss varnish, again with the varnish. Isoparphinic hydrocarbon, petrolatum cobalt gallate dryer, FD&C blue number 1, aluminum lake, FD&C yellow number 5, FD&C yellow number 6, aluminum lake, D&C red number 7. Oh my God, that's been banned for like ever. Lake and cosmetic grade iron oxide may contain titanium dioxide and aluminum powder. I think the last two things I said might be the only things still left in modern day cosmetics. The whole thing with the tattoos got like so recalled. They recalled this and some other tattoo related stuff in other kids' stuffs. So don't expect me to test the tattoos. It won't happen. It's going away in a bin somewhere. So yeah, that was a little bit of controversy. And you can see on the dolls, they don't use the rub-on tattoos. They just use like the sticker tattoos, which the stickers can also be used to decorate her clothes. And some people were using it in the hair. I don't know what monster puts stickers in hair, but we just don't. The stickers are super cute and glittery. Those I'll probably save for something else because I just do that with stickers. Have I talked enough, or are we ready for the unboxing? We're probably ready. So, we're going to start by opening the cardboard. And I'm so glad there's more people online decarding their dolls, because you guys are saving your dolls from turning toxic. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Okay, I think I see what went crunchy in here. Okay, so part of her ponytail holder is now at the bottom of the box. That was the rattling we heard earlier. Thank God it wasn't anything worse. So that's not bad. We'll just set that aside for right now. And Skipper comes with a lot of accessories. So to start with, we have an instruction booklet. I wonder about anybody who needs an instruction booklet on how to play with a doll and stickers. Who is this for? And okay, so most of it is for the temporary tattoos on how to apply a tattoo. Which, by the way, this gives me a chance to tell you something. When you find not toxic temporary tattoos, you don't have to put them on your skin. One thing you can do is you can take an old wooden or plastic box or bin, and you can actually put the temporary tattoo on that and apply it just as if it was skin, but you're putting it onto the plastic or onto the wood. And then when it dries completely, you can smear a little Mod Podge on top, and now you've got some really cool artwork and a totally customized box for you. And I say this because I did that with a tin, with a little, not a tin, I had an old diaper wipe container that I had saved from when my brother was little because I liked the top. It was like seafoam green. So I took one of the temporary tattoos, and I think it was a Pokemon one, and I put it on the plastic bin, and I followed these directions, and then I peeled it off, and it's still there, and it still looks good. And that's a fun way you can decorate with these without hurting your skin. So if, like me, you got eczema and you shouldn't be messing with this, you can at least reuse these for art projects. So there you go. That's something fun that you can do. So yeah, these are just instructions on how to use the temporary tattoos. Apparently they stayed for 5 to 7 days. Again, we're not going to test that out because these got recalled. And then another thing too is that you can also apply the temporary tattoos to the doll. There used to be, they're gone now, but there used to be an Instagram page that I followed that did that with their dolls, and it looked really cool. So there's a lot of things you can do with temporary tattoos, and you can make them permanent just on your dolls or on boxes. You don't have to put them on your skin. So this summer, when you need a DIY, try it. Oh, okay. Skipper was under a 2-year limited warranty, which I know expired. Tattoo contains acrylic copolymer, surfactant defoamer, alkyd varnish, modified glass varnish, isoparanific hydrocarbon, blah, 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 blah. May contain don't put this on your skin. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I'm going to spare you the drama. Don't do it. And then on the back, wow, this tape has yellowed. Oh my god, it looks like a smoker's wall. Ugh. So on the back, we have like some punch-out cardboard accessories for the doll. We are so cheap. We're not doing plastic accessories. We're just doing cardboard. This is why I don't complain about AG Sisters or the new Barbie dolls that come with plastic accessories, because this is what I grew up with. This is cardboard. This deteriorates like crazy. Don't holler at me about the plastic goodies. But anyway, we have a cardboard picture of a notebook paper, her learner's permit, driver's ID, looks like some other ID, probably a school ID, a foldable trapper keeper that you can fold in half, ruler, pen, pencil, bubble gum, which is dubious now with the yellow Scotch tape, and car keys. With, of course, the yin and yang symbol and a flower, so we know if she was shopping the American Girl store, she would buy both Nikki and Isabel. So now we can just put that to bed in case you were curious. The back of the box looks like a war zone, which means I'm going to have to go through all of this to free Skipper. But let's take a look at the front before we do that. So here's Skipper with a little flower and ribbon through her braid. That's super cute. The tattoos we're not going to bother with. The stickers that are super cute. She's got a little clear pink bag that is super, super fashionable. I love these. I love her outfit. I love these colors. Pre-Y2K fashion. I love it. Her swim trunks. I was about to say, why is your underwear on the outside, kid? some blue glasses, and a brush. All of the colors are super cute. When I was a kid, I loved this doll. I actually bought this back. I used to have another teen skipper. She was another one I lost in the flood. And this was one of my favorite skippers that I played with, aside from my extreme green skipper, who's survived. I don't know where her hat or other shoe are. I'm still looking for those. I thought they were in the house. This skipper meant a lot to me. Both of these skippers meant a lot to me when I was a kid, because as I mentioned in a previous video, when these came out, I lived in a neighborhood that was just adults only. There were no kids at all, just creepy adults that we kept having to call the cops on. It was a bad neighborhood. And I was really isolated. I realize now Dad made some bad choices on purpose. So when I would retreat to my bedroom, I built like a little Barbie mall, and I would just go to the mall with Skipper and with my Stacy dolls, and I would just pretend I was around kids that were closer to me in age. And with Skipper being 16, I viewed her as like the cool big sister kind of doll. Like Barbie, I loved my Barbies, but I always saw them as grown-ups. And I had a few Barbies that I had as mom characters. You know, like they're on a different pedestal. They're moms, they're presidents, they're queens. And Skipper I saw as like the cool big sister. You know, being a big sister, being the eldest in my family, I just kind of figured like if there was anybody before me, you know, I would hope it would be somebody like Skipper. So like I would just follow Skipper around and then go to the mall with my Skipper and Stacy dolls, and that was how I coped. I realize now a lot of it was coping. So to have this back is really special. And now we have to free her. So we have a bunch of what fell? Something fell. Oh, her glasses. Okay, so these are her glasses. They freed themselves. Some of the packaging might disintegrate. That's going to help. So I'll just put the glasses aside so they don't break. So we've got the metal twisty ties. There's that. Barbies today no longer have these. You might be, if you haven't seen my prior unboxing videos, you might be wondering, what is all of this? How come Skipper's hair is sewn and glued to the box? How come there's all these metal twisty ties? Well, people used to be trash. My mom said it started when she was a little girl. She would notice when she would go to stores like Goldblatt's and Zayer, and then later Venture. None of them are around, don't bother looking. And Kmart, that kids would go into the aisles and they would take the dolls out of the box, play with them, sometimes steal accessories, and then put the doll back in the box all messed up. So this accelerated as my generation started to be born. So this was Mattel's way of helping out collectors by making it excruciatingly difficult to get them out of the box. And it's like we hate parents, but we love parents too. You got to pick your battles. So that's why they did these. I think this started to go away about 10 years ago because a lot of people just don't like microplastics in the soil or in the water. And I think at the time nobody realized what the microplastics were going to do. We know better now. So they were just like, you know what, this is an excess cost. It's making the dolls more expensive. Let's not do this anymore. So they don't do this anymore. Now Barbie dolls are a lot more simple to get out. We just have those annoying little plastic tags. Her underoos are going to come right out. There we go. It's just cardboard holding that in. So there's her underoos. There we go. I'm not going to make too big of a deal of it because this is YouTube and we don't need to get pulled off. The brush I can pop out is a super cute hot pink brush. Mattel, please bring these back. I miss these. I love these so much. They are so good. So good. Okay, so let's see what we have undone. So here's a cardboard cutout of Skipper in her swimsuit. And let's turn this. I'm going to pull off this tab, and it looks like we're going to get her purse out. So we can look and see what's inside her purse. I love the clear vinyl plastic of this purse so much. Okay, so it's a drawstring bag. And inside, we've got more cardboard. So we have a Barbie fashion magazine that has a lot of gobbledygook on the back. Like they just let their cat type this because it doesn't spell anything. So there's that. Then we've got our school binder. Can we tell this is 90s still? And then we have a math book that also has a lot of gibberish in text. I can actually read some of this, but there's no actual words underneath the numbers. Yay, let's give children gibberish. That's totally not going to come back. So that's what's in her bag, her little bag. I'm going to fold these up and put them back in the bag. There are people online who sometimes put together little faux mangas. I might just print one up for her because I did that with another doll. There we go. Let's see. I've got my Generation Girl Tori, Goodwill Rescue doll I always wanted. And Tori, whose dress needs to be repaired, she came with a little purse that's sewn to the dress. And I love her. She's got like black nail polish and rings and extra piercings. And in the 90s, that was like so cool and so edgy. And I always wondered why Generation Girl was made for Barbie when this is more of a Skipper thing. I don't understand that. But anywho, since Tori is canonically an anime and manga fan and would have had more anime-related accessories, I went and I printed up like a little faux Sailor Moon manga. It's got like random pages that are out of order. It's even got Sailor Cosmos, which isn't in this book, but it is Usagi. And like I just printed that up and shoved it in her purse. So I'll probably just like make another one for Skipper. There, that it's something I would have done as a kid anyway. I used to print up Sailor Moon pictures and just put them on all my dolls. Let's see. Maybe I'll do a Cardcaptor Sakura one. Change it up a little. So the tattoos and the stickers are kind of taped in. I'm not sure how we're going to get that out. Let's pull some of these metal doohickeys out. She was also partially sewn to the box in other areas, not just her hair. The hair. The hair. We got to get this out. So let's... Okay, this one was merciful, so that came out. Out it goes. And then tape, glue, sewed. Okay, I'm going to have to flip this around because I don't know if it's going to... Yep. So you got to be careful because with older Barbies, a lot of them have cracked neck syndrome. I'll show you what that looks like. So a lot of Barbies in the 90s have this little defect where the plastic where the end of their necks are sometimes cracks apart. I used to have a lot of headless Barbies, and sometimes I would just like smoosh their heads back on. Sometimes you would hot glue their heads and then they would never turn again, and that's really sad. The new method for fixing this, you can either use a glue gun for this or a 3D printing gun, whatever you can afford. You take the head off, you take out the little ball joint, you can see that there, it's teal, that holds the head together. And then you just like draw the missing part around that area. You let that cure, touch it up with a little glue just to be on the safe side. Then you shove the little ball in, then you shove the head back on, and then it's brand new. So if that cracks any further, that's what she's getting. So when I was a kid, there were lots of times my mom and I would get dolls out of the box, and then now they're all Marie Antoinette. So I'm going to be careful because Skipper is a thin neck. So I don't want that to get messed up. So I'm going to tug and pull gently. And now you know how to get them out in case you get one of your own. And then, hi Lou Haven. And then we've got twisty ties and tissue paper around her foot. For real. So now I gotta untwist that. And that's hard because it's like double twisted. There we go. So that's one. And I'm just gonna pull the doll out so I can do the other. Okay. And her sneakers are gonna fall off. So let's go ahead and take a look. This was when Mattel tried to detail the sneakers differently for Skipper and for Ken. And since some of you only grew up with newer Barbies, they didn't used to have that slit cut in the back. So it was kind of a crapshoot if the shoes ever fit perfectly or not. Sometimes the shoes were too loose, they would fall off, and sometimes it would just take an act of God to get the shoe onto a foot. We have socks made of tissue paper, and I don't understand why we did that. Is this to protect the feet? I don't know. Skipper has small, flat feet, which I have a newer Skipper doll here. Skipper only stayed 16 for about 3 or 4 years, I think. Maybe 5. And then they started growing her down, and they made her 14 again. So this is like a newer Skipper. And yeah, her feet are just slightly bigger than a current day Skipper. I wonder if this shoe would fit. It's a newer shoe. I wonder if it would fit. Maybe. Yes. Okay, so new flat feet shoes work on old Skipper dolls. We both learned something today. There we go. Well, that makes collecting like a lot cheaper because these are not expensive. Okay. So let's fix her hair a little bit. Oh my god, her hair is so soft. I remember this softness. I remember this. And when they're already soft like this, and then you wash it and put conditioner through it and then rinse that out, they get even softer. It's like a cloud. Such good hair. So here's Skipper. And her, I'm going to have to redo her ponytail, and I'm going to have to wash her hair anyway because her plastic ponytail is disintegrating. I don't want that to stick to the hair, so I'm just going to pull that off. It's crumbly. It's gross. I don't want her to deal with that. There we go. It's a problem with elastic ties. Like, and even some of the newer ones are getting bad. Like, again, with Skipper, Skipper's getting a new hair tie because this one that I've only had for a year is already turned yellow. Once it turns yellow, time is not on your side. You got to get that out. So I've got 2 Skippers that need their hair washed. Almost got all of the blue crud out of her hair. I've got like 1 bit left. There we go. Okay. No longer a danger. All right. Her flower has like a little ribbon thing on there, so hopefully that'll last for a good while. This is such a good braid. This is such a good braid. Okay, her hair is super fluffy. She's got like a big, deep gold streak on her platinum, almost white blonde hair. So I'm going to go ahead and, for some reason, old Barbies had tangles at the bottom, no matter what, like fresh out of the box. You know, this is why when people complain about Barbie and American Girl dolls today, I kind of laugh at them. Like, if you go to Reddit, it's mostly just, oh my god, 1 strand of hair was off. I'm returning this doll so she can go in a landfill so I can get a perfect doll. I laugh at them because, like, first of all, you can fix this by just doing this. All better. Look at that. Her hair's already perfect. And second, like, you know, you're complaining about a strand out of place. LOL, I had tangles. Off goes her shoe. Maybe she does need socks. Her shoe just disappeared. There we go. Okay, so her shoes are loose, so I'm gonna have to sew some socks because I'm not buying socks. It's crazy. Barbie and Skipper socks are like $20 for one pair on like Etsy and eBay. And I'm like, it's like fabric scraps. I can just sew one. So I'll just sew her some socks. She has a ring. She's got a pink ring. I know this looks like it's on her left hand in the camera, but it's actually on her right because my camera's flipped. So no, she's not married. We don't do Epstein stuff here. But look how fashionable she is. Look how cute. I am so happy to have my doll back. Oh, right. I should see her with her glasses on. They're a little big for her head. This would probably fit Barbie pretty well. But here she is with her glasses. Oh my god, those are cute. Now, really upset that her underwear is on the outside. We should fix that. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Let me pull her long Marsha Brady hair back. I can't show this part on camera. I'm just going to take her shoes off. I forgot that like 97 was like kind of like the last or second to last year that we had Barbie dolls that didn't have like permanently printed on underwear on their crotches. So this is like totally smooth. She's got a butt crack. I'm not putting that in the camera. No thank you. Don't feel like dealing with that today. So I'm just going to put her underoos back on. Here we go. That's better. And this is her swimsuit. And you know, this was a whole fashion trend that I forgot about. Even American Girl magazine brought this up when I was a kid. Like the trend was you would wear your bathing suit or your bikini outfit, and then you'd put like regular clothes on top, like your jeans, and you just go to school or go to work like this. And then when it was time to go to the beach, off go the jeans. Now you're already prepared for the beach. It was like such a trend. I don't think anybody does that anymore. At least not around here. I live near 2 beaches, and I've seen nobody do that. So let's put her pants back on. And this is hard because, like, her jeans are really narrow. For some reason, we had a 60s and a 70s revival in the late 90s. My mom, who was a little girl during that time, like, she's Julie's age, she was curious as to why that was a thing. She was like, once is plenty. But, like, we had, like, a lot of skinny jeans for some reason. So these do fit snug over her bathing suit. But I just like her to have underwear. Put her loose-fitting high tops back on. There we go. And let me give her back her purse. There we go. And it's way loose, so I might just take her glasses off for a sec. Pull her hair up. Pull the bag like a ponytail. And then if I can, just like squeeze the arm through. There. Now it's an over-the-shoulder bag. She won't lose it. Much better. And even though I love her glasses, they are loose. So I'm just going to put them in her bag so she doesn't lose them. There we go. I'll just tuck that in. Retie that nice and tight. A little bow if I can. Maybe. There's enough cord. There is. There. Okay. Much better. There we go. Man, she's fashionable. I would have loved to have had this outfit as a kid. I really would have. I didn't have a lot of crop tops when I was a teenager, so I probably would have worn like a longer version of this, but these colors, oh my god, I am in love with these colors. I just love this so much. Now then, we have this little business to take care of. So, okay, looks like the tattoos are out. So these are the banned, recalled tattoos made with stuff that we don't sell anymore. They're glittery. And again, if you are brave enough and you wear gloves, which I should have been wearing gloves for this, you can put these on a box or on like something plastic and just never put this on your skin because that's not good. And there's directions on the back in case you lost the instruction booklet. Cut out tattoo. Skin should be clean and free of oils and makeup. Remove clear protective top sheet. Put the tattoo face down on skin. Wet the back of tattoo with water. Press down. Wait 30 seconds. Slide paper off backing. Do not hurry. Wash tattoo lightly with soap and water for a more realistic look. Your tattoo will stay for 5 to 7 days. If you put it on a box or something plastic, it'll stay for a lifetime. Even when swimming and bathing, it'll stay on. You may wash lightly with soap and water. Tattoo will come off in chlorinated water. So if you jump in the pool, it's the end of this tattoo. To remove the tattoo, saturate the tattoo with household... Hi, Elizabeth! With household rubbing alcohol or baby oil, wait 10 seconds, then rub away tattoo with a cotton ball. Fun story, I used to have a temporary tattoo of Pebbles and Bam Bam on my arm, and it stayed for like 3 weeks and started to give me a rash. We tried the baby oil thing, and it did not work. I ended up having to like deep scrub. I had to go get the St. Ives scrub, which I don't think they make anymore, and it was brutal. My skin was just Elmo red for the longest time. Note, do not apply to sensitive skin or near eyes. Too late. And then it repeats the ingredients that are Vanity Band. So yeah. Don't ever put this near your face. Don't put this on your skin. And then to make up for it, we've got these stickers. And wow, that was taped into the box. So they cared more about the stickers than the tattoos. The stickers can be used as tattoos or for decoration. I think they are super pretty. I like the colors, especially the pink and blue and the purple. It's very glittery. And it says on the bottom, tattoo for dolls, copyright 1996 Mattel, all rights reserved. I love anything iridescent and glittery. So yeah, I'm not putting these with my doll. I'm going to put these away. Actually, I have a box. You just go in the box. There we go. Problem solved. Out of sight, out of mind. But there we have it. There's beautiful teen Skipper. And she is ready for school. And I'm definitely going to get her some socks. I'm just so happy to have my doll back. And happy not to deal with all the cardboard. Yikes. So yeah, what did you folks think? I think she is super pretty. Just love this flowing hair. It's so soft. Yeah, Mattel for some reason didn't produce Skipper like this for very long. They were very quick to hurry Barbie into Generation Girl. I need to fix Tori's dress. And after that, we had like Barbie having like a spy high sort of situation. And then we had My Scene. And by the time My Scene hit, you could barely find Skipper. We had like this one doll where she cosplayed as Velma from the Scooby-Doo cartoon. And then Skipper just didn't really appear except for sporadically until like, I want to say 2009, 2010-ish. And then Mattel came to their senses, brought Skipper and Stacy back, and all's been well that's ended well since then. But by that point, they made her 14 again. So they shrunk her back down to like her 1980s height and age. Well, she's still a little taller than her 80s self, but like the same age as her 80s self. They made her 14 again. I don't know, it was like they went on this youth kick where they tried to make Barbie appear younger again. I don't know if that was to appeal to the old boomers that originally collected her when she was the teenage model, or if that was to change her image because they were afraid of brats, which don't think they should have been. I mean, yeah, they were kind of competition, but also a fad. But I don't know. It was just so weird. But since then, Mattel hasn't really added too much more to Skipper's story, but they have added a lot to her personality. They've made her into tech. They've made her into anything with involving electronics and video games, which further makes her more like, somebody I would have wanted to hang out with when I was in that age group. So I think they continue to make her cooler. The purple streaks definitely, that's cool. Um but yeah, they never went back to this size and I miss it. I like the fact that there were some fashions that she could swap with Barbie, and she couldn't swap all clothes with Barbie, but like some Barbies, like right now, um, with the exception of the length, she can swap clothes with like petite Barbie and maybe the Model Muse Barbie. Some of the late 2000s, early 2010s Barbies, she can swap some clothes with. But now they have her smaller again. Which, by the way, petite Barbie and new Skipper are the same size, just they gave Skipper a bigger head. It's weird. Like, I wonder if I still have. I wonder if she's in this one or this one. I have a couple bins because I was like rearranging stuff earlier. Where is she? I had a petite Barbie out. Can I put her in here? Oh, there she is. This is like one of the petite Barbies I have. I don't have many, but this one was just too pretty, and it's got Kira's face. Welcome back, Kira. But like, petite Barbie and Skipper have almost the same body, just Skipper gets a bigger head. And it's like your head shrinks when you become an adult, I guess. But like, they have the same body, they can wear the same shoes. Now it's kind of interesting that we now have like more adult Barbies that are the same size as Skipper. And now, you know, that's how they do it. So yeah, different sizes there. But like, I really liked that Barbie and Skipper could swap clothes. I thought that was cool. And she kind of can again, just, it's a little different. I feel like Mattel gave up on this too early. I mean, how can you give up on these sweet faces? Look how serene and pretty they look. They look adorable. I really feel like Generation Girl and the Spy High and the Mice scene, that all should have been Skipper territory. When I was a kid, I thought it was weird seeing Dr. Barbie next to Barbie Loves River. I'm like, Barbie should go to prison, River's 16. But anywho, even as a kid, I thought that way. But yeah, I am just so happy. So yeah, I'm going to do some tidying and make room. And thank you all for watching me unbox the Skipper video. And I hope you liked what you saw. And I will see you folks very soon. As soon as I find the button. Uh-oh, I forgot where the button is. There it is.